Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope you are all staying home and well with yours and your families. We are so excited to be here today. I am with the one and only Amy Stein, DPT, out in New York City. Amy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. And even in these circumstances, I'm glad to be able to share any knowledge, any answers that you have. So thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. And you're so right. These times, they are a little uncertain, but it's really encouraging that we can all come together still and really just not miss a beat, especially in our community. I think it's so important for us to stay connected because I know a lot of souls go up and down with depression and things of that nature. So connection is key. So everyone check in on everyone. But okay, so I wanted to do a quick little intro, Amy, before we dove right into some questions for you. But I did want to get comfortable and just kind of talk COVID-19, a little bit about your passion and different things of the endo community, things that you hear and what we can be doing here at home. So guys, if you haven't seen the promo, check it out. It's on my Insta stories, on my Facebook. You can go to the channel, but it gives more extensive details about Amy and how you can find her. But Amy is actually an award-winning author of Heal Pelvic Pain and Beating Endo, How to Reclaim Your Life from Endometriosis. There it is right there. Yes, there they are. If you haven't checked them out, I highly encourage both of them, you guys. They are wonderful resources for our community. But she is also a leading expert in pelvic floor dysfunction, pelvic pain, women's health, and functional manual therapy for men, women, and children. So I think any incredible soul tuning in today can definitely take something from this. But Amy, let's get started. I have some questions for you.
Sure, great.
Okay, so how long have you been in practice? And I want to know about your passion. Like, what is it that just pulled you to this this calling of yours?
Uh, Really, my patients and just how they inspire me and inspired me to keep wanting to learn more and grow more as a practitioner and to help them, even in this crazy time in New York City where you walk outside and it's literally a ghost town. It's a bit spooky. We still have some patients. I'm actually in my office right now. We still have some patients that need to come in and we're here for them. We're available. We're doing telehealth, but we're also doing in office treatments, with our masks and our gloves, and we're spraying down. My hands are raw because I keep washing them, and Clorox bleach wipes and everything. So it's really my patients. And then I did start seeing pelvic pain patients in 2000 or 99 was my first patient. And then I opened my practice in 2003. So I've been doing it quite a while. And I've really also enjoyed the expansion of my offices. A couple years ago, we opened a second office. And we we had 27 employees. Unfortunately, with this chaos, um, and also the fear that's happening right now in New York City, most of the PTs are preferring to stay at home, as well as most of the patients, which totally understandable.
Sure.
But we are still here for anyone that needs it. And it's just been an exciting journey. When healing patients has been exciting in the sense that I'm learning from them. And then when you get someone better that's been in pain for 10 years, 15 years, has gone through that medical maze of different doctors and different healthcare practitioners, and finally they're feeling some relief, it's such a good and warm feeling that you have. And then also watching the practitioners here grow, and they're teaching me so much. Now it's equal. They teach me, I teach them, they teach me. So it's a great environment to be in.
Absolutely. I love to hear that y'all are teaching each other and connecting and and just using that space together. That's so important that we build those bridges for sure. Because I know, and we'll get into it later, but you and Dr. Orbach, endometriosis excision expert, that you guys have communication and seeing the same patients, and we'll talk more why that's important. But so I love to hear that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so during this time, you know, it's really, you kind of touched base on it, but you are the founder and the owner of Beyond Basics Physical Therapy. So during this time, I mean, do you have any advice as to maybe entrepreneurs, business owners, even the endo community, maybe to keep stress levels down?
That's a great question, because I am using all my power to keep the stress levels down. 'Cause it's scary as a business owner. It's as a small business owner, it's really scary. Just the fact that I had to furlough the majority of my office because we can't pay the bills without the patients coming in, and there are not a lot of patients coming in right now. Again, totally understandable, but it is taking a huge impact on businesses that have small businesses that have a lot of employees and a lot of overhead. But for the endo community and just for pain in general, it is about finding that relaxation in yourself, doing the meditation or the at-home yoga, or one thing I've been very diligent about is walking outside. So I'll walk like halfway to work and then hop on the subway with my mask. So self-care is super, super important. And certain things like the books and the video are great resources, especially now. I have a video, for those that don't know, that goes through the massage techniques and stretching, and it's live. Well, not live, but it's recorded, so you don't have to sit there and count and that type of thing. So keeping the connection also with the community is important, as you mentioned earlier, that making sure you're connecting with people, even if it's through virtual. I have a virtual happy hour with some friends later just to catch up, and haven't seen them in over a month or more, I think.
Right.
So it's important to keep that connection with friends or family or whomever you feel comfortable with.
Exactly. Okay, great advice. Keeping it as normal as possible, but with a new twist, you know, just for this new season. Okay, so you mentioned your video. I wanted to kind of zone in on two things right quick. Your video that you mentioned, this is something that people can get online today, like you were saying, even because this is they're at home. What else can you be doing? Take this time for yourself to really just hone in on that self-care, that self-love, and developing, you know, that healthy lifestyle habit. But your video, you're saying that it's a guide for your patients. You can send your patients home with this, and it helps their practitioners as well. So I wanted you to just maybe, you know, what could someone expect if they ordered it? And then two, your virtual services that you're offering. Can this be for anyone here online? Is it just for your patients? Can you touch on that just a little bit more as well?
Sure. Yeah, we do offer telehealth, and it's for anyone. We see patients from really all over the world. We have patients come in to our office, and when they can come into our office, and some again still are, but we do like a very comprehensive evaluation and treatment in the office. As for the telehealth, we would do more of a consult, going over their symptoms, but also offering some techniques to do at home and a home program, and going over even behavioral modifications, so bladder bowel issues, if they're experiencing any pain with sexual activity, going over that with patients, what they can do at home. In the video, I even go over how to use a wand, an internal wand, but I'm very cautious with that because really starting slow with that, really being comfortable with using the wand to begin with is one step. And then starting to find the tight areas or the trigger point areas is also another step that that you have to walk the patient through. I find that some patients, they think more is better, and that's not always the case, especially with patients that have had a lot of pain for years, and have had chronic pain.
Mm-hmm.
I find that starting slower is better, really listening to your body, knowing if a stretch is irritating your hip or pinching at your hip or causing an increase in any of your symptoms, whether it's bladder or bowel issues. Those are really important things to note as you're going through any type of home program. So really listening to your body, but then also having someone to, like a telehealth practitioner, to talk to and to walk through the different exercises and the different massage techniques and that type of thing is important as well. Also making sure you are exercising. So I know a lot of people are at home, but getting outside, like today in New York City, it's not raining. So getting outside and taking a walk, and there's hardly anyone on the streets. So that social distancing is definitely available even in New York City right now. But even there's a lot of online programs being offered, a lot of free virtual yoga classes, mindfulness, doing all these things to help calm your system down, your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight. It's on super drive for everyone right now. So really trying to calm that down is key.
Exactly. And while we're on that note of calming it down, this is why, or one of the reasons why you and endo expert Dr. Orbach collaborate together. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So she and I, we've known each other for a very long time. And actually, I do want to add, what else inspires me are practitioners like Dr. Orbach, because they have a passion to help patients and help them get answers and also get relief too. Yeah. So I put our heads together and we wrote our book. It was published June of this past year, and it basically goes through a lot of what I've already spoken about. If a patient has bladder issues, bowel issues, any abdominal or pelvic pain, any pain in the back or going down the legs, if they are anxious because of everything they're going through and because not having answers for so long and for being in pain for so long, people want answers, and I totally make sense of why, because that alone can help calm your system down, even knowing what's going on. But being able to tap into your nervous system too by doing some relaxation techniques, some breathing exercises, some restorative yoga. So the book basically goes through that, and bladder techniques, bowel techniques, tips to do at home, and also importance of exercise. There's a great chapter on nutrition that Jessica Drummond wrote. And she has another book out. I think it's just an ebook right now, Outsmart Endo. So having all these resources and knowing that now there are more resources. 10 years ago, I was still trying to figure out like what was going on with my patients. And some of the patients were like, I wasn't sure what was going on. So having doctors like Iris Orbach to bounce ideas off of, to learn from, that has been key in my growth as a practitioner as well. So it's been, writing the book too was, most of it I already knew, but even like the small little details of what Jessica was saying about certain things you should eat or you shouldn't eat, things to avoid, that type of thing is really helpful helpful to know. And there's a ton of information in this book. So I highly encourage, if you are experiencing these symptoms, to get the book. It also is a guide towards your treatment. So it does go over medical management as well. That's key also to the book,
Yeah.
the medical management part and the options that you have to look into.
You know, whenever I was coming up with some questions for you, one that came to mind and I immediately answered myself was, but I'm curious to hear your thought. I wanted to know, you know, what was her goal? What was her ultimate goal for her readers from this book? And I immediately am like setting them up for success. And I feel like that's exactly what this book does. Whether, like you were stating, whether they have been in this fight for X amount of years, so many surgeries in deep, or if it's someone new that just started this journey, it sets them up for success. So I really, again, like she said, it's highly encouraged. It's a great read. It's knowledge is power, and we are definitely more equipped these days.
Yeah.
So it's time to implement it and continue to spread the word.
Yes, I agree. We still have a long way to go, but we've come a long way too. And yeah, the goal of the book was to empower the patients. There is a lot of information in there, so definitely digesting it kind of bit by bit, and knowing that there's a lot of information is something to be aware of, and that we're not expecting you to make all these changes all at once, but what we have seen most successful is really addressing each layer of the onion and peeling away those layers. If it's the nutrition and possibly some inflammation in the body that needs to get addressed, if the bladder is overactive and we need to calm that down through physical therapy is key for most bladder musculoskeletal issues and bowel issues as well. So getting to these different areas that are the patient's experiencing and really trying to calm their symptoms down, and trying to do it again at a slow pace, in the sense that you don't want to overwhelm yourself, but knowing that really doing it all together is what we see the most effective for our patients. So it is a lot of information, but I think approaching it step by step. So like, okay, so this week I'm gonna think about how to calm the bladder down, practice some of the tips in the book for the bladder, and oh, now I got that down and I'm feeling a little bit better with my bladder symptoms. So let me add some of the tips for the bowel. And there's a whole chapter on the environment, which is a little intimidating too for me. I was like, whoa. But I'm trying to do the same in my household. So instead of, well, right now yes, we have a lot of Clorox bleach around the office. We usually don't, but just to keep the patients safe and healthy. But we are using more alcohol, the propylene alcohol, and then at home, certain things like using vinegar and water to wash your floors instead of other products with a lot of chemicals in it. So making those slow changes can really add up and make a difference in our patients' lives.
Awesome. So I have to ask, and I think a lot of people may benefit from this as well, but endometriosis, women that you see, souls that you see that have symptoms and or have been diagnosed, what would you say is the most common question that you see? Me personally, I've never been to a physical therapist when it comes to my endo. Knowing what I know now, I would have done that forever ago. So what would you say is the most common question?
Well, so one thing to go back on is that we are learning so much still, and we're learning so much from our patients. So what I know now is I know like 20 times more about endometriosis and other pelvic health conditions than I knew 20 years ago. So just knowing that too, and knowing that your practitioners are trying, and not everyone has the same amount of training and background, but trying to find your team is essential. I think I just totally went off on a tangent. What did you ask me?
No worries. What is the most common question that you see from endometriosis patients?
Sorry. Yes, I
No
totally.
worries.
But that was important information, regardless.
Yes.
That's a hard question. I mean, I would probably say the most common is abdominal pain and cramping, and some pelvic pain or heaviness. More commonly with endometriosis around the period time, but it doesn't have to be. Then I do find that most patients it's heightened during that time, but some have it throughout the month, unfortunately. And then some do just have it around their period. Some have more discomfort during ovulation. We do see common symptoms of bowel issues, so constipation or alternating diarrhea and constipation. Then there's this idea of, which we address in the book, of SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, that a lot of patients do, or it's more common than we think. And that commonly has to do with that you're basically, I wish Jessica, or I hope Jessica Drummond is at some point on here, because I don't want to make any errors with saying this, but basically, like you more or less get a backup in your system. The pelvic floor gets tight, and you can get symptoms, bladder, bowel, sexual dysfunction symptoms from that. And then with the GI tract, it gets backed up. And then because things aren't moving so well, you get a buildup of bacteria. So we see quite a bit of abdominal pain from that too. And then with our sexually active patients, we see pain with either deep penetration or even more surface, like at the opening of the vaginal opening. So we see the gamut. It's hard to pinpoint the most common, but I guess what I said before, the most common is more like the lower abdominal cramping and pain.
Okay, so what would be, you kind of touched on exercise earlier in the sense of mental state for these times and things of that nature, but what is your opinion just relating endometriosis and exercise?
So exercise is key. Even if you could only do 5 minutes twice a day to begin with, if you are pre-surgery or post-surgery, even then, obviously following the physician's protocol as well, but really trying to get moving is key. Starting with 5 minutes twice a day and then slowly increasing it. Or if you're already at 30 minutes at the gym or 40 minutes at the gym, knowing the balance of also not aggravating your symptoms versus really also getting the blood flow. So if you're running a lot and your symptoms increase after running, then maybe toning it back a bit, but still being active, maybe doing like the elliptical or some yoga classes or some gentle Pilates, that type of thing, but always making sure you're getting the blood flowing and you're moving. And then with regard to our home program, I actually brought a couple tools with me. It's really essential to see a pelvic floor physical therapist that's experienced in pelvic health and endometriosis. But at the very least, definitely doing a home program is key. And even if you are seeing a pelvic floor physical therapist, having a home program should be the first thing that they give you. And I like tools, so you can even have just a tennis ball at home and using that for, I'm going to just show you on the computer, just trying to get into trigger points and massaging that area. You can use it on your back, you can use it on your upper back, in your glute area. And then this is a softer ball. It's our Beyond Basics ball. But I encourage patients to start off with very gentle, I can show you real quick, but just doing like a very gentle abdominal massage. And that can help with if you're experiencing abdominal pain, but also if the bowels are irregular. Just doing a gentle massage can help things move along. And then I always love my massage tool. So really getting into the legs area, but also if you're experiencing any tension in your shoulders or in your back, you could do this on your own. You can also have a partner help you with it. So both books go through some of these techniques, and then the video goes through it in person. You can do it along with the video. So definitely home program, gentle stretching is important, but also again, modifying according to your own symptoms and comfort. So if your symptoms are getting aggravated by something that you're doing, then making sure you lessen what you're doing or just even skip that particular massage or stretch or whatever you're doing. But keep going. Find something else that works for you.
Beautifully said. I love that you said make it, what works for you. Everybody is different. Everyone's case is different and we react to things differently. So that's key. That's awesome. So, okay, you kind of went over some examples with your props. So, I mean, would all of these things that you listed, is there anything else that you could add to for our viewers, something that they could be doing today, whether it be, just to get up and get moving, if they're like, okay, today's the day, I've just got to take that positive step. What's something simple yet effective they could be implementing?
So definitely doing these massage techniques at home, but also doing some gentle stretching. Whenever I've done a lot of talks on endometriosis, and even getting into certain yoga positions, if you are experiencing a flare or more symptoms, that's important to try to figure out what works best for you. There are definitely some good yoga apps out there. Dusty and Miller has Your Pace Yoga. Shelly Prosco has some yoga techniques. I believe she has an app that you could do for home use. So making sure you're doing what feels good for you, that's for sure. Making sure you're also doing it a couple times a day. So if you're sitting around most of the day, then doing a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, a little bit in the evening is better than not doing it all. And also spacing it out so that you get the blood flowing. So especially if you have like pain with sitting, making sure you're moving around and getting the blood flow there. I also I'll go over with patients different cushions that they could buy or use. They can make their own cushions. Using a physio ball, like one of those big balls to sit on, or to alternate sitting on that, and then a cushion that feels comfortable for them, getting a standing desk. So different things to get the body in different positions and also moving. And then really also incorporating some type of mindfulness is important. Getting the cardio in, so getting that heart rate up to get the natural endorphins even flowing. So really, again, implementing all this, and if they have bladder issues, if they have bowel issues, trying to address those as well simultaneously, so that you're really looking at the body as a whole and trying to calm all the systems down.
Fantastic. Okay. And we mentioned your video a few times and your books, and I wanted to let everyone know that I will be putting in a link later, so that way if you're interested in looking into it more, you can. But I believe they can also, excuse me, go to your website. Is that correct? BeyondBasicPhysicalTherapy.com?
Yes, BeyondBasicsPhysicalTherapy.com is the business website. We do sell, or there are links on my Heal Pelvic Pain website that sells that has direct links to both books. Both are on Amazon. And then the video, actually, I should mention, which I sometimes forget, it is on digital download. So you don't have to have a DVD player anymore. I added that a couple years ago when my younger crowd was like, oh, I don't have a CD player, DVD player. So that is a digital download, and it's sold on my Heal Pelvic Pain site and also on Amazon. So it is long. It is long, but you can do it in, like, I recommend doing it in increments. So maybe doing like 10 to 15 minutes of massage and then 10 minutes of stretching, doing cardio at some point in the day. But even though it's long, I recommend splitting it up. Like day 1, do this, day 2, do this, day 3, do this. So.
Nice. Okay. And I also wanted to ask you, when people follow you, if they can find you on Facebook and Instagram, are you on YouTube? I've taken a peek, and from what I can tell, you have some really awesome videos that you post for like posture and things of that nature that I found really helpful. So is that, tell us how they can follow you and what type of content can they look forward to? Because I really, like I said, I like those videos you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, we do quite a bit. Our social media is at Beyond Basics PT, and we have we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think it has slowed down a bit because of everything that's going on, but we have YouTube videos, recommendations to do like at home. We are going to be putting out more content of things to do at home. We're trying to get that all together now. And then we're still doing, I'm trying to see in my office if I have it, but we do this pelvic health 101. It was in person, but now we're doing a completely live stream on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that this Thursday is already the 3rd session, but we're basically going like 1 week is bladder health, 1 week, I think tomorrow is bowel health and bowel issues and what you can do at home to help. We have pain and sexuality. We have a men's only or male, if you identify as male, and then female as well. And we also have I believe a prenatal postpartum. So it's a series of, I believe, 8, and tomorrow's the 3rd one. So if you want some more information, that is also on our website, a flyer of when it is and where to listen into. So lots of information coming out continuously. So.
That's fantastic. And we can maybe even put it in the comments below to make it easier for everyone if y'all are interested in learning more. But yes, that's fantastic. Thank you, Amy. Real quick, I wanted to let you know that a comment came through from Joy Roberts within our community. And she said, Amy, thank you for your life's contribution and experience in helping women in their daily fight. Your books have been key in pushing the standards higher in PT offices throughout the country. And I couldn't agree more with her comments. Yes, thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you very much. I love doing it. So, and I love helping patients, helping other practitioners. So we will continue to fight on and find more answers every day for our patients.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Amy, thank you for your time. It has been a pleasure. And as always, before I let you go, I want you to know that you have always been equipped. You are more than enough. Speak it, believe it, live it. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.